Whoa. 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 Welcome back to Reclaim Within. I am your host, Ash. I am so excited to dive in today. My prayer for you today is that you walk away from this episode with a deeper understanding of astrology as an ancient, evolving tool that we can use for self-awareness, compassion, and connection. And that you begin to see why or how it is such a powerful, dynamic system for being able to learn to embody your wholeness and for honoring the sacredness of life. Okay. Astrology is far more than the oversimplified categorization of people by their sun signs. I have been deep in process around this for years now because it is a beautiful and deeply complex. It is a living archetypal system that is alive alongside and through humanity. Its enduring relevance lies in its ability to meet us exactly where we are, reflecting both our personal journeys and the collective consciousness of these current times. Astrology offers us a mirror for the archetypal energetics that shape the human experience. It is what allows us to take symbolic resonance and attempt to put language to it, to describe and to understand and comprehend the multidimensional nature of this human experience. Learning to decode this blueprint actually invites us into engaging in a lifelong dance with these timeless symbols. I myself have spent over 2 decades with this symbolic system, and I will tell you without hesitation that it is one of the most sophisticated and profound tools for understanding the complexity of the human experience that I have ever encountered. And it is not a party trick. It is not a personality quiz. It is a map of archetypal energetics, a living language that has been evolving alongside human consciousness since before most of what we call modern thought even existed. Western astrology specifically, as we know it, was born in the Hellenistic period around the 2nd century BCE, out of a fusion of Babylonian star lore, Egyptian cosmology, and Greek philosophical wisdom. The 12 signs of the zodiac that most people are at least vaguely familiar with came from that convergence. So the systems are even more ancient than that. That's just what we can track back, which is amazing to me. What I personally find most beautiful about astrology's origins is that it was never meant to be static. It has always grown with us. And the system in itself actually is reflected inside of and reflects back the consciousness of the age that it's moving through. It is a dynamic system, not fixed. It is a living system, a breathing system. The archetypes literally are embodied through our human experience. It is through our experience that these archetypes express themselves. And it's happening whether you're conscious of it or not, which is why it's so beautiful to actually be able to understand how to be in relationship with these archetypes that are actually moving through our day-to-day human existence, no matter what. And that adaptability that this archetypal system has is actually one of its greatest gifts. It's also the thing that I think is really hard for people to grasp. And it's what's so easy for people to dismiss it as a soft science or as a woo-woo thing or as parlor trick. But that is because they are completely missing the depth and breadth of this is a system that even though the languages that don't even exist, the verbal languages don't exist that existed back in the 2nd century. There are languages that have completely been wiped out. They do not transfer to our lived reality anymore. And yet this symbolic language system does. That's beyond comprehension. That means that this is a symbolic language that cannot be reduced or that cannot be taken over, that cannot be wiped out. Yes, we cannot fully comprehend with our current cultural norm how vast this system is and how amazing it is that it has prevailed and it has moved through cultural systems, generations, the birth and death of many societies, and yet it still prevails. To me, that is saying something so much more than words can wrap around it. This is a prevailing and intricately woven system in our human experience. When anyone attempts to orient to astrology as if it is something that has no roots or that has no validity, it honestly makes me laugh. Because yes, the way that people are using the tool might be completely glitterized or dismissive. Because if you see this as a belief structure, something to believe in, something that's going to tell you who you are, that is deeply reductionist and it doesn't have great validity. But if you can actually see these archetypal zodiac symbols as the inheritance of our ancestors, that our ancestors worked with these archetypes in some capacity, and now we get to work with these archetypes in some capacity. Wow. This is a language that has traversed so much upheaval, so much dissolution, so much being completely ripped apart, and it's still here, which I think is why so many of us recognize it and are drawn to it like a moth in a flame. Now, I need to just talk. I need to let something off my shoulders here. I need to talk about something that genuinely has made my blood boil. When astrology is actually reduced to sun signs alone, and it's created into this cookbook type experience that I think is often just used as a way to get people engaged and a fun, like I said, parlor trick. The thing that bothers me is that in that, so much of its depth and richness is completely lost because it's reduced to something that is not. And when I witness people referring or referencing sun side's judgments, like he's a Cancer, that means that we're not compatible and he's just way too emotional for me. Oof. Without even actually being able to see the wholeness of that human and all the other parts of how he presents and how he operates inside of his time-space reality and his lineage and his family and what he's lived through. Like, no, that is not how this system is meant to be held. I do not agree. That is like saying that mathematics just ends with addition and subtraction. Like 2 + 2 is 4 and that's it. There's no other equation that matters. It doesn't even matter. Fractions don't matter. Multiplication doesn't matter. It's not real. We don't need to go there. All we need to know is 2 + 2 is 4. It's just a very black and white, very reductionist way of perceiving. So while the sun sign provides you a very vital clue into one's archetypal luminous essence of like what their soul is here to shine and thrive and be lit up inside of that archetypal structure, yeah, sure. It is just one piece though of a much larger puzzle in someone's multi-dimensional nature. Every individual's astrological chart, every single one of us, contains all 12 signs of the zodiac in our charts, expressed through a unique arrangement of planets, houses, and aspects. These elements create a tapestry of energetic imprints, archetypal frequencies, offering insights into not only symbolic orientations in character and events in current life experiences, but also giving us clues into the challenges, the gifts, and the opportunities for growth as they evolve on their life path. Somebody who has a Venus conjunct the sun in Aries as a child might present in one very real Aries Venus sun way, but as they evolve and as they grow and as Uranus and Neptune come up to that conjunction, they're going to then express very different orientations inside of that archetypal structure that only that one person that's living that one life can fully understand and be inside of and have the internal structures to be able to understand how that's affecting them and the people around them and the lives that they're living. We can't reduce these archetypal beings or these archetypal expressions down so much into cookbook. Even though I know it's easier for our minds to grasp, it does a huge disservice to what this study and this ancient lore that we've inherited actually does for us. The archetypes of the zodiac are all universal too, which is so fun. Yet they manifest uniquely in each and every person. For instance, someone with Aries predominantly placed in their chart might embody courage and a pioneering spirit in one area of life, while another may experience this energy as a soul calling to develop self-leadership and assertiveness, depending on what placement they have in Aries. So one person might be fully embodied in that expression and that experience, and the other might be really working on that in this lifetime. But if you're not actually able to see that each and every person is so deeply unique and their own soul's expression and their own soul's lessons and what they're here to embody and experience is so vastly different than any other human on this earth, you'll lose the connection to the magic or the mystery inside of all of this. This is mysticism, the deeply personal way that these archetypes interact with each other underscores astrology's ability to honor individual complexity while at the exact same time connecting us to a larger collective framework. It's beautiful and it evolves with your consciousness. I just saw an aspect in my chart this last month that I have never seen before. I know that's so crazy to say. I have been studying astrology since I was 13 years old, and I am 37. And I just noticed that I have my Chiron square the nodes of the moon in my chart. How amazing is that? That tells me that when you are ready to see something, even though it's been there your whole life, you're ready to see it, you're ready to embody it, you're ready to work on it, work with it, that's when it appears. And it just so happens that I'm going through my nodal return this year. And as I move through my nodal return, I am becoming awakened to this challenging aspect in my chart. And oh boy, am I ever. But it is so reassuring and it is so mystical that I am just now being able to work with these archetypal energies in my life. where I could have before, but for whatever reason, it did not click until just now. What I mean to share in that is that when your consciousness is ready to receive the message from these archetypal entities, the information reveals itself. One of the most profound benefits of astrology and of studying astrology when working with it in a honoring way is its ability to connect our humanity. We are all part of something united. And when we understand that, so much compassion can be cultivated. When we get that we have all 12 of these archetypal symbols operating inside of all of our lives, and we are all moving through our own lessons with each and every transit, it actually connects us more to one another. Understanding that everyone is navigating their own unique astrological blueprint can somehow just shift how we view each other. Someone struggling with emotional intensity might have a strong placement in Scorpio, reflecting deep transformative potential, but also a propensity for shadow work and a deep need to find security within themselves. A person with a significant Virgo archetype might experience both the gifts of discernment and the challenges of perfectionism. This awareness fosters a sense of wonder and compassion, being able to see that we're all moving through our own unique experiences with this. And rather than judging others for their struggles, we can see their challenges as a part of their unique life path, reflected in the archetypes that they are working with inside of this lifetime. It reminds us that we are all so deeply interconnected, each carrying our own difficulties and divine gifts. I personally really love describing astrology to people as a metaphorical weather map, a forecast that helps us to prepare for the cosmic seasons that we encounter. It's my favorite tool for being able to bring someone's inner life and reflect it back to them. Because where else do we get to actually be reflected in what's happening for us in the unseen inner world that we all are moving through and carrying? A forecast that helps us prepare for these seasons that we encounter allow for us to understand transits, which reflect the movements of planets through the sky in relation to our own natal charts, and provides us insight into the themes and the energies that we are going to be facing as we continue to move forward in our lives. And here's how I like to vision it. It's raining outside, no matter if you bring your umbrella or not. Might as well be prepared and look at the forecast, how you might best prepare for the day. Just as we prepare, possibly, for the rain by carrying an umbrella, understanding an astrological transit allows us to meet life's challenges and opportunities with awareness and intention. Does it change that it happens? No, it's going to be happening no matter what. It's just how you choose to meet it. So whether you believe in the weather forecast or not, the weather is still happening outside. The rain will fall regardless of your belief in it. The same is true for the planets and their movements. They continue their celestial dance, influencing the world around us, no matter how we perceive them or interpret them. No matter how the culture builds or the culture falls. And importantly, astrology does not dictate outcomes. That's a big one. It invites us to engage actively with the energetics that are at play, but it does not dictate outcomes. You are in choice with your life. So many people get on a reading with me and they want me to tell them what is going to happen. That is not how this works. I do not have power over you. I cannot make decisions for you inside of your life. I can tell you what the forecast looks like, and I can help guide you and counsel you to make decisions that might actually be really in alignment with your soul's purpose and with what you're desiring to move through in your life. But there is no way that I can tell you exactly what that looks like. I can tell you what your lessons are around that specific area of your life, but I can't do it for you. And that's a really interesting place that I see a lot of people go, is they want somebody else to do it for them. And that's just not how this life thing works. A challenging Saturn transit might highlight themes of discipline and responsibility, asking us to build resilience and structures in our lives. The outcome in that, however, depends on how we respond to the invitation to take on that responsibility. Will we lean into the lessons, or are we going to resist and fall victim to the requirement or to the ask of life to grow up, the growth that is required? Do you align to it and allow yourself to show up, or do you resist and fall victim? You have agency here. At its core, astrology is a tool for self-discovery and remembering your wholeness and remembering why you're here and what you're here for. By working with its archetypes, we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and of our place in the cosmos, of our place here on this earth, in this current time-space reality. It is a mystical tool to orient us in time and space. We begin to see life as a beautiful dance between archetypal expressions, and each has its own rhythm and purpose. And this perspective allows us to align more fully with our authentic selves, to honor the sacredness of each of our unique paths in this lifetime. Ultimately, astrology connects us to something greater than ourselves, a universal pattern, a divine blueprint that weaves through every aspect of existence. And it reminds us that we are multidimensional. We are both individual and collective, finite and infinite, human and divine. By engaging with its wisdom, we open ourselves to the mysteries of life, reclaiming the gifts of the cosmos and the sacredness of our beings. I hope that you know that you are so unique and there is nobody else like you. Even if someone has your exact same chart and on the exact same day and born on the exact same time, that person's ability to be in choice and consciously choose how they want to live their lives, and the parents that they have and the communities that they are raised within are going to allow for their expressions of these archetypal symbolic systems to be so uniquely their own. You are so individual. You are so unique. There's nobody else like you, and you make perfect sense. I promise. I worked with thousands of people at this point, thousands of people in working with their own inner systems and helping them reclaim their worlds from the inside out and make that true transformation. And I promise you, there is nobody else like you, and you are so beautifully unique. And so getting to actually dive into all these archetypal structures can really help remind you of that and remind you of how beautiful your path is and what you're here to do and your purpose. I just did a really cool reading the other week with somebody who was really questioning, like, what am I here for? And we got to dive in for 75 minutes up into how her soul is here to be in such deep reverence and transformation to the divine feminine, and how she's had to learn some of those lessons really in a hard way. And a big part of her soul's lesson in this life is to actually let go of the need to control and trust in the sacredness of her body and the sacredness of her path as a woman here on earth. And it was really beautiful to get to actually see how real that was for her and see how her unique being and her unique life experiences led her to those inner battles, but also how she's transforming it and alchemizing it and sharing it with other women. So, so cool. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you for supporting this creative expression and joining me in remembering the sacredness of life. I am deeply grateful to you for spending your time here with me. If you feel like you'd like to go deeper and become a paid subscriber over on Substack, you will receive access to my monthly live Zoom calls at the end of every month, where we gather and we talk about the astrology of the upcoming month. And also we go over a Q&A around the last couple of podcasts so that we can dive into reclaiming within together. I also will have a link below if you'd like to book an astrology reading with me. We can get on the schedule and you will have the recording for life. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you next time.